1,000 bullet games. Oh my god, I just got a trophy from chess.com for playing 1,000 bullet games. Disturbing. Disturbing.
Situation with Blake is ranked.
Howdy, folks. And congrats, Chess Talk. All right, so the first thing we have to do is we have to set up the thing for the quads for tomorrow. Just have to get that set. Sorry to do that on air like this. Hey, Farmbruster, Pleafers. Okay, the form's gonna be quad registration. All right. I've almost finished it. Almost finished it. So that should do it all. And the tournament is May 6th, tomorrow. Alright, that's set. Let's go put it into the play command. Moobot. Moobot. All right, and let's turn it on. Okay. So this tournament is tomorrow, not today. It's in 14 hours, 13 and a half hours. But now the info's there. And if anyone wants to like check my work and make sure that it's not a mess, sometimes I get the day wrong, sometimes I get all kinds of stuff wrong. I mean, Pretty amazing how many things he's wrong. So anyway, if anyone wants to check that, that would be appreciated. The main thing we want to do today is practice vote chess against this computer. And Lee was pretty tough, so we're going to start with something easier than Lee, I think. Because, you know, we need a warm-up. Vote chess has been a little bit too stressful. And today I'm just not in the mood for stress, you know. I just want it to be easy. Maybe we'll play like a 400 rated computer and I'll just watch you guys smash it and I'll laugh. That's the kind of entertainment I'm looking for. You know, if I were going to study some games tonight, I would not be studying the games of Daniil Dubov against Wesley So. That's like too stressful. I'd be studying the games of, you know, Paul Morphy against NN or something like that. That's what I'm ready for today. So Lee is too tough. She's her school champion. Man, yeah, she attacked us like crazy. So let's just beat down. Let's beat down a beginner. Who's this? Mina. We haven't played Mina before. She knows how to make forks with her queen. Another one that just brings out their queen too early might not be that fun. Let's see. Aaron. Reykjavik. He hopes to play like Fischer someday, but still has a long way to go. Zara. Creative chess. Come up with her own ideas. Okay. She'll trick you with her unique tactics. I mean, I don't know that anyone can use tactics other people haven't used, you know. I'm expecting your votes to not quite be Morphy level, but close. Alright, so we'll choose Aaron. No help of any kind. We'll play as white. Play. Hello! No, I never met Bobby Fischer. Thanks for asking. Alright. Now I'm going to put on the... Now I'm going to put in the vote chess thing. Hang on. Go add that in. It's going to be an extension. I'll let you guys know when it's active, and then you can refresh to get into it. So extensions, my extensions, activate. All right. So now, if you refresh your stream, you should see the gray chessboard, and I know it doesn't show for everybody, but many of you should see a gray chessboard below me with no pieces on it. And it's on that board that you can vote. So I'll show you board, square, clear, move, vote, started. Yeah, this is just Aaron, not Aaron. So here you guys can click like what kind of a move you want by clicking on the square you want to move from and the square you want to move to. That's right, you done messed up now, AA Ron. Those guys were funny as can be. Hockey sticks, yeah. All right. Seems like a few of you figured out how to vote. So the vote is for E4. And I clear it and I start a new move vote. And then you guys can go for what you want here. Meanwhile, let me see how things are working in our other tournaments. Any fires to put out in the May-June tournament so far? Let's see. Some results have been played in. Registration. looks good. It is not Mezzo Alpha. I'll tell you what it is worth to study Mezzo Alpha. Everything in that video. That's my full guide to 1200. That's my full guide. Okay, it looks like an overwhelming vote for taking this guy's pawn. Clear, move, vote. Okay. Okay, it doesn't look like there are any problems with the May-June Classical Tournament, so I'll just pay attention to the vote chess now. Was there any other Chess Dojo work I had to take care of tonight other than setting up the quad? You're welcome, Mezzo Alpha. The truth is that chess players in general have wasted so much of their time studying openings. Players rated 600, 1,000, 1,600, etc. And it's really not a priority. And mostly it's a waste of time because they don't really know how to study it, so they don't study it well either. Hey Tali, welcome. Welcome. This computer, as you guys can maybe see, is rated 700, so I expect it to be heavily lobotomized to play like a certain number of really bad moves, and then other moves will be fine. I don't know what the attendance will be like for the quad. It's our first time running a Game 30 event, so I don't know how popular that time control or setup will be. Alright, I was about to put up a poll to ask you if you thought we would win in 10 moves or less, 20 moves or less, or 30 moves or less, but I was too slow with my idea of putting up a poll. Looks like very clear that we'll win in 10 moves. Oh, never mind. I see what you guys are voting for. Maybe you guys know that you can talk in the chat to suggest stuff to each other, right? Like you can give each other advice in the chat. And if you want to change a vote, there's a little X next to your vote. And you can like change a vote to another vote. It's an interesting suggestion there, Dolly. 10 to 8, 10 to 9, 10 to 10. Oh man, at the last moment. At the last moment, enough people figured out how to change votes. Oh, that was a lot of pressure. There were like 1 second left on the clock when e2 b5 got 1 vote ahead of knight f3. So that was clutch. Oh, we can definitely beat this bot. It's just a question of whether it takes us 10 moves or 20. I guess since it's vote chess, after this game I can use a vote to have you guys vote on how strong an opponent you want to play next. Like if you want to play an 800 rated bot or an 1800 rated bot or whatever. Morphe wins a bet that the bot would leave c7 undefended. Aaron, by the way, asking you guys, what did she ever do to you about the queen? You felt Aaron was distracted, so it would be honorable to just give him a draw, yeah. Fair. All right, halfway through, it's 90% in favor, so I cut off the voting when it's 90%. He says he sees it. I see it. By the way, folks, we're going to be on chess.com TV tonight at 11 p.m. in an hour and a half for the first time in like 5 months. I bothered to reserve some chess.com TV time. I just didn't think that anyone was actually like watching through chess.com TV. And I only really want like engaged people watching. I'm not like here for all the like fake embed numbers and stuff like that. So I wasn't sure if it was worth the effort. But maybe there's a couple people on chess.com TV. Who knows? So I made the effort today. All right, knight a8 has won the poll. By move 20, says the poll so far. Good morning, Putsy. Welcome to the beatdown of Aaron. This is a close vote, or a split vote, or whatever. In the end, the simple knight f3 wins. See, Morphe knew that if you guys played d4, Aaron would play knight c6 and allow d5. Morphe's able to predict the moves of this bot. The Twitch app doesn't see this extension. Okay, it looks like d4 wins the vote. And I'm going to start a poll. I'm going to start a new poll. You guys let me know when you want me to resign for the bot because you're winning by so much that you want a new game. You guys don't have to resign. I'll resign for the bot when you guys are ready to call it. Okay, looks like d5 takes the vote here. And see what you guys are thinking. Oh, it looks like 90% think that the bot should resign. So it looks like we will... Looks like we'll finish things here. This bot is just too weak. Unfortunately, this bot doesn't resign, so we'll just bullet it out. I'll pre-move on the bot. Jeez, that was a horrendous knight c6 move. Don't worry, this won't last long, folks. All right. New game. Now, I need your help choosing for me, so I'm going to end the poll. Can I end the poll? Do I have a way to end the poll? No? Oops, shouldn't have made the poll that long. Thank you, None Too Smart, for the sub. Since we're waiting for 10 seconds here, the only thing I can do is thank you profusely for your support of us. We love it. We're getting a lot of democracy here today, Morphe fans, so I hope everybody loves it. Next bot should be rated 800, 1200, 1600, 2000, 2400. We're going to go with 1 minute because I want to start the next game. So let's see. Jesse's done with the 2700 quest, so I guess I can't make dozens of clips of pre-moves for him anymore. He got to 2700 and he's done Race to GM. No more blitz for him. That was everything. I don't think Jesse could make 2700 in bullet. I bet Jesse's bullet rating would be similar to mine. We'll talk about the addiction on Saturday, Race to GM. We're going to use that as the topic for the next Dojo Talks. Chess addiction. I mean, a pure democracy doesn't necessarily have to have attention for minorities, Putsy. That's just one of the things that some people use as like a corrective thing in democracy. David, 1400. No, 1600 is advanced, folks. Pierre, Pablo. We've already played Pablo once, I think. Let's go with Joel. He likes playing Blitz more than studying. He finds the King's Indian attack is a great way to get a fun game without learning too much theory. True. Hello, do you study openings? I don't. Me neither, Joel. You and me, Joel. Me neither. All right. Anyway, pure democracy doesn't necessarily need to pay attention to minorities. That's one of the dangers of democracy, and so you get more complicated forms of government that, you know, have things built into it. Okay. Anyway, should we play his own opening against him, a King's Indian attack? Let's do it. I'll play the first 5 moves for you guys to just, you know, quickly get into it. Oh, look at this guy. He's super at home with what's going on here. Okay, now you guys take over. We're not playing the Magnus bot right now in the lowest levels. I let everybody vote on what level of opponent they wanted to play. The vote was pretty clear for 1600, so we're going up against Joel here. And honestly, I estimate our level of play when we've got about 20 people voting at about 2,000. So we would really need more people if you guys want to take on like Gotham bot or Magnus bot or anything like that. We'll get smacked with our current numbers. All right, the vote is for D4. Gotham bot sucks. It should be like 2,400, no? Chess.com wouldn't want to insult Levy by giving him a 2,000 rated bot. would guess they would give it like a 2400 rating, like an IM, right? The bots aren't as good as the real people? That's funny, because they have to work to make the bots worse, because otherwise the bots would be better than the real people. You drew an IM bot? Wow. Interesting. All right, coming down to the end of the vote here. Knight c3 takes it. You can handle up to 1800 and you're 1600. So the ratings are inflated by about 200 points. That's a typical moderate little like ego boost for the people playing against them. I think that's the way they like think about it when they run it on the product side. It's like if somebody's rated 800 and they like lose to the 800 rated bot all the time, like they're going to be frustrated and upset. So they try and make the 800 rated bot play like 600 or 700 level instead of 800. I think that's pretty normal. Some real uncertainty here. I've noticed when people aren't as sure what to vote, the number of votes like decreases dramatically. I think this is opening theory. After bishop takes bishop, black plays knight d7 to attack d4. So even though he claims he doesn't study any openings, I think he's playing like a big main line. So they programmed the AI differently than the algorithm for playing. The AI talks about how it doesn't know openings, but actually the bot is using an opening book. It's even telling me King's Indian Defense, Fianchetto, Carlsbad, Samajian variation. So that's like a variation of a variation of a variation of an opening. Like it knows the variation named 3 openings deep. That's right. It's a lying bot. There's bots, there's lying bots, and there's statistical bots. All right, you guys have voted to recapture the piece. Logical on our parts. Oh, he didn't play knight d7. I insulted the poor fellow too soon. Poor Joel. Abused by this stupid human who just wanted to create drama out of nothing, right? Typical streamer. Somebody cancel him. But first vote for a good move and then cancel me. I just think humans are programmed to love drama. I think it's not something that I discovered, but I read this theory and I find it very convincing that we're basically programmed to be primarily interested in gossip about each other. That's a good point, Tolly. Those things are never coincidences. E6, interesting. So he's going to play for D5. It looks like you guys are saying no, he's not going to play D5. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't mean to say that we're like, computer programs written by one sentient entity. I just mean, we have some kind of predilection, certain predilections in our genetics. Look at that. We just opened up his rook for him. Or its rook for it. I don't know how we should gender the bots. Their little pictures seem to have genders, but they're robots. I should probably go read 10 articles about proper gendering for bots so that I don't mess it up. You messed up your vote, Cappy. You can cancel it and put something else in if you want to. There's a little X right next to where it says, from E4 to C4, and then the time's ticking down next to it. There's a little X in between the squares you've selected and the time that's ticking down. You can use that to change a vote if you ever need to. Now you voted for C takes D5 on this move, right? It compounds itself. We have a backward pawn with a rook targeting it. Yep. I hate when the government does that, Tolly. You guys think that we're going to beat Joel today? I would guess that we will. Okay. Whoa. Good thing it saved our game for us. Is our pawn on e4 bad? Not too bad. If we had to say which pawn was worse, the c7 or the e4 pawn, we would say the e4 pawn is better and the c7 pawn is worse. So yeah, it's on an open file. The opponent can pressure it somewhat, but it's pretty solid with this bishop here. So overall, and it's giving us nice central space. So overall, it's okay. Okay, the vote is for bishop into the center. Lamau race to GM. Lamau. Oh yeah, a6 is a beautiful loss of tempo. Here's hoping that Joel plays a couple more while we squish him. Morphe fan, if you had to choose an advantage, which would you pick? Extra pawn, smushing space advantage, or attack on the king, or big development lead? Which of those four do you prefer? A pawn, a smushing space advantage, an attack on the king, or a big development lead? Wow, we're getting aggro. You guys, whoa, you guys. Never mind, he's more aggressive than you are. I take it back. All right. So you like having the better position. You like having the better position. It's big raise to GM. It's like maybe like 5.5 Tempe or something. I don't know. It's big. 4.5, something like that. Hey, Pizza Trainer, welcome. Yourchess.com username is Zabuneni, and for some reason it's bold in the May-June Classical Tournament. I don't know who bolded it or why, but Zabuneni. Okay, king takes h2 wins the vote. Joel's comment here is, looks like a check, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, tell them, Giant Solemn. Tell them what you want. Three seconds left. The vote's not going your way, is it? Oof! It's only by one vote. But it didn't come out your way. Queen takes g4. Hey, Wrath of Gods. You saw we got you paired for round one, right? Got you with the white pieces against Adonde this week in the Classical. Have you played any Classical games recently? So this is going to be the first one in a while. Oh, you already told me about your game? Results round one. Alex Babel versus Donde 1-0. There it is. It's already there. All right, the vote is for F5. Wow, guys, wow. Okay, he goes H5, but before we see that, let's have like a quick glance over here. Just for fun. Just for fun. I know it's a messed up screen capture. More than a year. Ooh, that's... So you like the space advantage. Oh, this is interesting. Nice. Oh. No time to take the pawn. Yeah. Nice. Nice. Oh. Bravo, folks. That was the Wrath of Gods coming down there. Cool, cool, cool. All right, back to our vote, Jess. So I have to open a new vote for this move here. Wow, and the Greeks find each other. That's nice too. Teach us how to say checkmate in Greek, if you don't mind. There's a few votes in here, Thali, so it must be glitching for you a little bit. $8 in the morning, yeah, for both of you. Ouch. I see. That looks like mat, like in a lot of other languages. Yeah. Oh no, we've got a tie. We have to go to a tiebreaker, folks. 30 seconds re-voting on this move. $7 a.m. in the Netherlands. Oof. It's going to be close again. Whew. All right, we've got a winner. We can continue. Wow, Joel's pretty aggressive. If you can't vote Wrath of Gods, one thing you can do is you can tell people what to vote for, and that'll already help the team quite nicely. Joel's a maniac. Actually, I mean, if he plays H takes G3, it's pretty annoying. Oh, you guys already finished voting. And the vote was for taking on G6. Interesting. Oh, F6 was a cool idea, Stamen. Did anyone vote for that? Not a single vote for F6. Trying to keep that queen from getting to H4. Hey, it's a nice idea, but it's not what we played. Wait, Joel didn't take on G3? What happened to that maniac we were expecting? What happened to the maniac? Why didn't he take on G3? Come on, Joel. Why did you even put your pawn on H4? All right, Queen F7 wins. I'll have to get that king safe. I suppose so, Joel. Good luck with that, Joel. Our queen's already on F7, Alexa. Queen takes G6 now. Queen takes G6 is a butcher's move. I'm inclined to agree. We've got a suggestion of Rook H1, which is very classy, and a suggestion of Rook F4, which is stylish as well. But our winning move is the butcher's move. All right, looks like a check, if I'm not mistaken. Good question, Morphe. All right, looks like we're voting for king takes g3 probably here. That's exciting. I did see it, Tali. Yeah, I did read that. And I want you to be comfortable here, so it's totally fine for you to say it again. Whereas your fellow Greek seems to still live in Greece. I'm assuming from them saying it's 8 a.m. here. All right, we got checked. It's fine, Tali. Don't worry about it. I'm just relaxing here tonight. Take it easy. Sometimes you just got to take it easy. I'm letting you guys do the hard work. That endgame study today really took something out of me. I didn't even want the stress of seeing you guys play against Lee, and I wouldn't know if you were winning or losing. I was like, let's beat some 600 bots. But then they were hanging their queen on move 4. It just wasn't interesting enough. So we're ratcheting up the stress just a tiny bit in order to make it a little bit more exciting, but to hopefully still win. All right, king f3. Hey, Shoria. Greetings, welcome. Oh, it looks like you're new here, Shoria. It says you just followed us for the first time. Welcome. This is Chess Dojo. I could tell you what the stream's about, but it would be unhumble of me. So I'll let people in the chat tell you. I can tell you that it's run by 3 different chess teachers, and we try to have a lot of education, but also a lot of different kind of events and variety on the channel. Yeah, very brave to say hello right when you walk in. There. Raise 2GM and Pleafers have told you what our channel's about. Bishop H2, wow. Rook H2 is also a butcher's move. Me caveman, me take. Bishop in front. Hit head on bishop. Walls closing in on Joel. Rook H2 getting 90+% of the vote, so I'll finish the vote. Go on to the next move. Oh, we got checked. And Joel says, once again, looks like a check, if I'm not mistaken. Your programming is very simple. I think you are not a human, but a bot, if I am not mistaken. You want in the Cookie Monster voice? Pieces, me love pieces. Why did we give a 1600 so much counterplay? I don't know. It was exciting. It was exciting. You guys made the game cool. Okay. The vote is for King E3 over King E2. Whoa. Looks like a check, if I'm not mistaken. He's just double checking that he's got the checking rule down. And Morphe Fan is here to tell him, yep, you've understood perfectly. These are checks. You guys want to play king f3 just to egg him on to play another rook f8 check? All chess propriety would be to take with the bishop, but I saw some people voting for the king, and I think they just want to see Joel play rook f8. What are you studying in school, Pleafers? If that's semi-public information for you or whatever. Just chilling and hydrating. Classical saxophone performance. Now I've got to ask you then, Pleafers, how long have saxophones been around? What's the earliest period of saxophone composition? 1840s. All right, with over 90% of the vote, we'll keep going with this. Nice. Okay, with 90%, it's this move here. Joel says, oh, I hope I don't miss her. You're going to miss her, Joel. Sorry. But you only miss your queen when it's taken now. What do you mean, Stamen? In a tournament game, race to GM, I would look for a watch to put on or a jacket to take off of my chair and start, gesturing at my opponent. Let's get out of here. We could be analyzing this game together. Let's go somewhere for a post-mortem. Yes, the April tournament is over, Stamen. That's correct. And the final standings should now be available. At least that's what the tournament directors told me. And the joy of it is I didn't go through and double check everything, That's the joy. Might as well keep hacking away with another butcher's move. Oh. Le coup du boucher. Yeah, this is the butcher's swinging. He's hitting the meat and himself with the same blow. Just me and the cow are going down together. But there will be a little bit more of me left at the end. All right, guys, I can't watch this. I think we're done here, okay? I'm just going to end it. All right. Who shall be our next challenger? I was just going to make like a queen and checkmate in 4 moves, but then I noticed that we had a bishop and a knight on the board, so I just decided to quickly show you guys how the bishop and knight dance. Good night, Mezzo. Thanks for playing with us. Looking forward to the next time. See you later, chess stock as well. Sorry. Okay, the next opponent. Ooh, now you guys are encouraged by the stomping of Joel. Looking for a challenge. Fatima is a well-rounded and tough 2000. And that's the winning vote, too. Okay. All right, good night to you too, Cappy. You've got your 100K. Nice, Morphe. Nice. All right, let me find Fatima. 1900. Lee, already played her. Fatima. Calm, patient, and determined to queen. Grind you down and happily win the endgame. Woo! Yikes. This is going to be scary, folks. Good luck. Good luck. I don't know if we can do it without Capfee, chess stock, and Mezzo. That's gonna hurt us here. That's definitely gonna cut into our it's gonna cut into the strength of our team. She's from Lebanon, Fatima, and says Alan wa Salan. We'll need some new blood to, you know, pick up the slack. Two senseis at once. George Lindsay. Ideally, below me, you would see a gray chessboard with no pieces on it. And basically, you can click on a square and then click on another square, and it registers that as your vote. So here, people clicked on E2, E4, or D2, D4. All right, you'll get unlost Pizza Trainer as we go through it. So it'll be okay. It'll be okay. Hey, Olavi Polavi. I'm glad you remember them. I don't remember them that well myself, but a little bit. I do know that I started making them in 2009. You do have it on your screen for you, George. That's great. Yeah, Pizza Trainer, you'll definitely get the hang of this in a little bit. Don't worry. You'll get the hang of it. Fatima says, not a bad way to start. Let's get the board blocked up. And then plays the French. This is pretty new for me, Dr. Nodeg. You like Fatima's haircut? Song Sue? It should say active voting again now, buddy. Every now and then it stops active voting when a vote is done. Morphe fan voted for how Morphe played the French. In other words, e takes d5 Morphe. I think that's a good choice against Fatima. She said, let's get the board blocked up. I think she wouldn't be happy if you exchange Frenched her. You can play it like Morphe. I'm sure Fatima would not want to play against Morphe. But if she did get a locked position, I'm sure she would give Morphe a really tough time. So, to show knight moves, you just start by clicking on B1 here, Dr. Nodeg, and then on C3, and then I'll see B1 to C3. Like 4 people voted for B1 to C3, so then I know it's the knight. So it's basically coordinate moves, but the winning vote is the exchange French. Very nice. It's got like a bad reputation, but she says 1 step closer to the end game because 1 pawn got traded. So we can't win against Fatima. If we lock the board up, she's happy. If we trade the pawns, she's happy. I'm feeling helpless already on turn 3, but luckily it's you guys taking her on and not me. You feel evil for voting e takes d5? It was a good choice. You knew what Fatima's strengths and weaknesses were. You took her out of her comfort zone. You normally play the advanced. She would have exulted had we played the advanced as well. I think she's very... I'm predicting she's going to be very cocky. My experience with the other 5 bots is they're all pretty cocky so far. Knight f3 wins the vote. Your board is empty and you never get an option to vote. Unfortunately, buddy, I'm not very good at tech support. Things I do include refreshing my browser, closing it and reopening it. If you see the overlay, you're most of the way there. Interesting position. How many of you have experience with the exchange French? I've played this in a tournament before. Against a grandmaster. Maybe even I've played it a few times. Bishop b5. Interesting move. Whoa! Whoa! She says check, but not mate yet. Yeah, the board's always empty. You'll never see pieces on it. You just click on empty squares. And then, you know, I hope it all works out. Good thing we've got a good move here. Hey, folks, use the chat occasionally to help each other out with your ideas, you know? Like, what are the pros or minuses of king to d2 here, you know? Throw out some advice for your friends, your teammates. If you guys want to eventually take on, you know, Gotham or Hikaru bots, we're going to need to up our game even a bit more. And even though a minute's pretty fast, a little communication can't help. All right, bishop e3 should be good, boys, is Thali's advice. And that's correct. Bishop e3 is definitely the best move here. And it's what y'all picked. I'm not voting George. No, I am just the hand. I'm just the hand. I am just the hand on the mouse and the eyes on the vote tally. You guys are the brain. If you guys know the variant of chess called hand and brain. You all are the brain. Or you're the driver and I'm the car. Was king d2 a good move there? No, it was terrible. Negatives of king d2 were that we couldn't castle, it blocked the bishop on c1, etc. the vote comes in to damage the pawn structure. Good suggestion, George. Yeah, it's nice. We've won quite a bit of a development lead already, folks. 1, 2, 3 moves for our rooks to see each other. For her, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's our move. So we have a 2.5 tempo lead in development right now. You start off the game with a half a tempo lead in development as white. So we've gained 2 tempi of development already this game. 1 when she blocked in her own bishop, and a second when she spent a move on a6 and we conceded the trade in exchange for that tempo. If you put in a vote that you don't like, by the way, like George Lindsay, there's a little X where you can change your vote. The X, you can only see after you've put in moves. The X will appear next to your moves and before the time that's ticking down. Right now it says, 52, 51, 50. All right, another move that doesn't get her closer to castling. I'm very worried for Fatima here. The light square bishop is a weakness in the French for black if there's a pawn on e6. Since we traded on d5, that doesn't apply to the exchange variation of the French. Ooh, the vote's really close this time. Between 2 really good moves, so. Woo, Rook e1 edges out by 1 vote over 95. I don't know which move was better. They're both really good moves here. Too bad there's nothing the bishop can go attack here. Yeah, bishop f4 is good, Pleef. I think it's a very good idea because it looks at a real weakness here on c7. I think that's like a really, really strong move. Might be the strongest move. Who knows? But we voted for bishop g5, which might also be the strongest move. All right, she defends herself for the moment. Okay. It's been an hour, so it's time for me to stretch, change positions, look around the room, drink some water. Play 95 for you all before I do that. And start a new move vote. See, this is where Pleefer's bishop f4 move might have come in handy, because here, if the queen needed to move to defend the c6 pawn, here we would have knight g6. Had we played bishop f4 a la Pleefers. We have burnt up our development lead, by the way. Moving our bishop and knight a second time each. Black is now basically caught up on development. So have we achieved anything in that time? I don't know. All right. Oh, wow. A three-way tie. So we're going to have to go to a tiebreaker. You guys might want to discuss a little bit what's best here because we've got moves. We've got like 8 different moves getting voted for here. All right. How does c4 work? I guess c4 tries to play c5, kicking the queen off of c6. And on c4, if pawn takes, white could maybe take with the knight, because the bishop won't be able to take. Or white could bring out the other knight and take on c4 with the second knight. Who knows? g5, f4, threatening knight g6, even though we've wasted time getting to it, is a pretty annoying threat. f2, f4, threatening f5. I guess bishop e7 might defend black against that. Now, where's a cookie for my health regimen? You know, every hour, move around a little bit and eat a cookie, right? Look left, look right, look up, eat a cookie. It's good for your eyes. c4 wins the vote now. Woo! The rook is in. I don't know, Mr. Maxers. I think a lot of people have said they don't really see voting in the app, only in the browser. Fatima definitely does not seem to sense danger too much, right? She's not... I mean, rook b8 and rook b2 were both pretty intense moves for somebody who can't castle and has a rook checking out their king. That's the tournament tomorrow morning for me, Halions. I mean, I don't know where in the world you are and when it's morning or night for you, but we have a tournament in about 12 hours. And it's the first Game 30 tournament I've run on the dojo. So it's a new time control for me. So I don't know what kind of a turnout to expect or how many people are going to be into it. It's also a tournament where you can't just withdraw after playing a game because it's a round robin pairing format. Normally our tournaments allow people to come in, play one game and quit, or come in late and play one game. So we'll see. We'll see if this is popular or not. So is anybody feeling bad about the exchange French anymore? Or are you guys just feeling like you're playing a chess game now? Queen a4 wins by 1 vote at the last second. I thought knight c6 had won, but then I was wrong. Okay, she finally gets that that bishop out of the way. Well, yeah, you voted for it, Morphe. I know it doesn't bother you, but I think when you voted for the exchange French, some people felt not so great about it. I wonder if they're feeling any better about it now that we're sort of into the game and having an interesting fight. Good question, George. Anybody have an answer for George? Whoa, the vote's tied. We're going to a tiebreak as we seek the answer. So when I notice like 50-50 like vote on this move, that tells me this is a good move for us to analyze after the game's done, right? This is a good point for us to come back to and discuss. Oh, did I not start the new vote? Sorry, folks. I thought I did. Here we go. Sorry. My mistake. Or maybe the mistake of the extension. Who knows? I thought I clicked to start the new vote. So for something like this, you guys, it basically does come down to calculation of variations, not some kind of general principle. It's not like, oh, we should check or, oh, we should set up a discovery. It's like, if we play this move, she plays that move. If we play this move, then she plays that move. That's all there is. That's all there is to these kind of things. So the vote was for Queen C6. We'll go back and discuss this after the game, okay? All right. What's up next, folks? Is King F8 even good at all? That was definitely her best move, George, yeah. She didn't have any safe way to block. Oh, I left down 30 seconds instead of 60. Sorry about that. But I'm not going to go back and redo it because you guys voted for a great move. So we'll just give you guys that move and go back to 60-second voting after this. H6. Poor thing. Wow, several of you noticed that knight g6 was a possible move. We got some trades on f6, some retreats to h4. Somebody just wants to take the a pawn and ignore everything. Wow, you guys are feeling like Morphe. You guys think you're Morphe going for knight g6. Wow. Bravo. Yeah. This is interesting. Ocean Air's plan was knight g6, and then I don't know what's happening. Yeah. Perfection. it's suspenseful seeing the last moves tick down. 8-8, tied again. Another moment for us to come back and review later. For now, tie-breaking vote, 30 seconds instead of 60. Or if you fan needs 10 minutes. Yeah. Oh, I didn't start the next vote. Again. All right, I gave you guys too much time to calculate. It's funny, the move that I would have probably played got like 1 vote out of 20. Okay, this time you guys choose to trade. I would have probably taken on e6 with the rook, but we'll come back to this moment as well because you guys were dead tied between queen e6 and bishop f6 the first time around. Now bishop f6 wins clearly. And let's go for a follow-up here. We'll definitely come back and analyze this game. This game's exciting. Don't let me go on to the next game without analyzing this with all of you. So this is going to be interesting. All right, with over 90% voting for it, we're going to bring in this piece here, finish voting, and go on to the next move. This position's exciting, right? You guys having fun? Or are you guys feeling the stress? To me, this is fun. To me, this is the fun. All right, the vote was for knight takes d5. That looks right. I'm sorry, let me find the window to take in. All right, rook takes f2. Nice catch, Ocean Air. Good calculation there. Sweet. Now we'll see if people hear what you said. Yeah. We'll see if the message gets through to your teammates. I'm not going to help. I just want to see how you guys work together. Ah, heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. By one vote, Rook F1 voted for. Well, the one nice thing is that she didn't find Rook F3. You guys got a little lucky there, no? I think. Oceanair can tell us, because Oceanair calculated this thing. Little lucky. Little lucky on the Rook F5. This is a pretty amazing tactic, right? That you pin the rook so you think you're safe from the discoveries, but the rook can still move on the f-file, and then if your king has to step away, it can come back down the f-file. That's a pretty sick little tactic. It was by one vote, Morphe fan. That was really close. By all rights, we should have lost the game right there. The huge problem, Wrath of Gods, is if the rook were on e3. Oh, actually, it could never take it. Yeah, knight e3 check, bishop takes, the rook would take back, and it would be the same thing. Huh. Oh, man, it didn't even matter. All right, here's the vote. Clear, move, vote. What did she do? H5? She didn't even take anything? That's a lot of tension. That's a lot of tension on the board, my friends. That's a lot of tension. I hope you're having fun. I'm trying not to get stressed. Hey, Walden. Dolly's having fun. That's what we want. That's what we want. All right, Rook F5 wins the vote. All right, a vote for Queen F3. Whew, can't fault her for that move. That's pretty nice. Would King F2 have been dangerous? Probably not. Probably okay. I don't think it would have really mattered. Tolly was taken, so I had to take. Tolly was taken. All right, queen a8 wins the vote. I think I know she'll play king f7 here. Only so many options. Very few legal moves. Tongue twister, nice. Literally everything is hanging right now. That's correct. Our rook, our knight, and our queen. That pin is annoying, yeah. And it hasn't gotten less annoying as the moves go by. We've got a tie, so we have to go to a tie break on this vote. Clear and vote. Dordon wants to resign here. The team wants to play queen d5. Oh God, she undid the pin. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, folks. The pin is gone. Thank goodness. Or thank Fatima. Oh, man. Yeah, queen d5 was the only move there, I think. Oh, I'm very, very grateful to Fatima there. All right, h4 got one move in the end. This was a very interesting possibility, h4. Trying to get the queen to go somewhere where we can win her. The winning vote is the first move I looked at, which looked really good to me, knight f5. All right, there goes the king. All right, winning vote, 97. It's scary to be the first vote cast, huh, Pleafers? Let he who knows the most about chess cast the first vote. And you're like, well, I'm not saying like I'm the greatest chess player ever. I'm just voting. I don't think you guys have a lost position here. Right now, your pieces are reasonably active. Queen e4 chosen. That looks good to me. All right, calculate your hearts out here, folks. Calculate your hearts out. Ooh. I think I see something nice here. Actually, I think they've done a pretty good job with programming this Fatima character. This feels more like playing against a human. Like she alternates good moves and bad moves. Her bad moves aren't like so egregiously bad. They don't come out of the blue. They come in like complicated positions mostly. No fried chicken. This is a computer bot that we're playing against. Voting is done. You guys found h4. My cursory examination tells me that that is the move I would have played too. She says check, but no mate yet. Yeah, big question. Who's getting mated and when? Fatima, that's the big question. Reminder, when this game is done, we need to check the game. We need to look at it together. We need to engage in some retrospection. What's introspection when you're a group? That I don't know. Group-trospection. All right, king h2, very nice. She found another check somewhere. Why did they create a computer named Fatima from Lebanon? I don't know, fried chicken. I don't know. I mean, they made a very large number of bots, right? Maybe like 50, on the order of 50 bots. And they made bots with all kinds of names from all kinds of countries. You would call your computer Bob from Indiana. There are some Bobs in Indiana. You're not wrong. You're not wrong there. This might be close to the end of Fatima, yeah. She's not looking good here. Oh, but she played a good defense there. That slowed it down. They might have been Feingold and Thirsty Monster bots. I don't know, Cheesy. They might. They don't. Okay. That's not going to make the top of my list of recommendations to Danny. Sorry, Cheesy. I've got a list of like 5,000 things that I would suggest to chess.com, and having bots at all, much less, renaming the bots or changing them, is definitely not on my list. Okay. Another violent move from you guys. Feeling confident here, landing tactical blows on poor Fatima. who just wanted an endgame. All she wanted was an endgame grind. It does feel weird, fried chicken. And I haven't yet figured out whether I should call Fatima a her or an it. I haven't read up on that subject yet. So I'm skirting along on the seat of my pants. Why is no one saying G6 F8? You're saying it, George. G6 E7 is the top vote getter. I would have played G6 F4. Did that get any votes? 3 votes. I would have moved the knight where it would allow my rook to move. That would have been my priority. Trade the knight for the rook, you know? That's what I was feeling. You think, Pleafers, I can't get in trouble for misgendering the bot? He was legitimately offended and you thought he was a legitimate... and you thought he was a legitimate lunatic. Many of those letters. Nice, Pleaf. You got a lot of letters. Like having the IM title or something, or the WFM title. E5, H5. The winning vote here was E5, H5. There you have it, folks. The wisdom of the masses that I have told you about. Do we lose the game or I'm sorry, folks. I mean, we were even talking a lot about how the rook couldn't move, weren't we? And we mentioned like putting the knight on f4 so that the rook would be allowed to move. George like, make my move, David. What's wrong with you? I tried, Bob Dole. I tried. Look, I'm trying. Chess.com won't let me. You guys should write like 100 letters into customer support saying, why your bot not work? I have free account for 7 months. I expect service for my free account. Your bot trash. We sent a screenshot of this position here. But it'll actually accidentally be a screenshot of our email. With like, you know, responses back from like some dating website. And we'll be like, look, Fatima bot not let me play Rook H5. The arbiter's got to add time to Fatima's clock. All right, folks. I think I'm going to resign for us here. You don't want me to resign, Morphe fan? All right, I'm going to give you guys one last chance. Next time we vote for an illegal move, I'm resigning for us. Next time. You've been warned. Next time I'm resigning. Well, I'm not, Wango. I've never been drunk in my life, and I wasn't pretending to be drunk. I have pretended to be drunk. That blew my mind, Wango. That was something outside of all my expectations. If you guys vote for E5H5 again, it's got a few votes. Are those jokers or? Oh, it's a close call. But knight g6 wins, going for a repetition. She declines the draw. Well, if you don't know how to vote, Capatanco, perhaps you can Capatanca, perhaps you can advise us in chat. Like, give us some help on how to vote. I just blew your mind, fried chicken, then we're even. You guys voted for an illegal move and blew my mind. I have never been drunk. There. Your mind's blown in return. Okay, the knight comes back around and breaks the pin. I approve. I approve. Well, it blew fried chicken's mind. I think it's probably not that rare a choice. I mean, I imagine there's a lot of people who haven't been drunk. I can't be one of the only ones. Now we can move the rook, says Cheesy. That is correct. We are allowed to move this rook at long last. Rook e7 looks decent. Yeah, Morphe, if you're a fan of checkmates as well as of Morphe, then rook e7 is decent. Yeah. But the top vote getter is going to be rook to g5. People have just been waiting to move this rook. Just so excited to use him again. And this also leads to mate. So, in a Muslim society, it would be very not mind-blowing. That's right, Bleepers, good point. But I mean, even here, I don't think it's like that rare. I know, I fixed it, Capatanca. On my Twitch, your name is in a very, very bright light color that doesn't differentiate well from the white background. So I said Capatanca once and corrected it myself. Oh, but it should be Capatanca, like Capablanca, who's tanking it. Capatanca. There, you just didn't blow your own mind, fried chicken. You could have blown your mind with hallucinogens, but you didn't. Queen f5, yeah. I think that's the fastest way to mate here. Not that I'm paying any attention, it's your game. There is no David bot, Toto Young. No David bot. Does that mean we're now on Chess TV? Yes. Hello, Chess.com TV. It's been a really, really, really long time since we've been on you. Like 5 months or something. If you don't remember me, I'm David. I made Chess.com TV. Like 11 years ago. And yeah, welcome. We're playing Vote Chess against some Chess.com bots. We're almost done with Fatima. Then we're going to analyze the game. Then we're going to play the next bot. G5, G8. Good choice. I love watching the walking of the plank at the end. I like a good checkmate. I like a good checkmate. Are you guys going to vote for knight to g6 checkmate here? Both illegal and not checkmate? We'll wait with bated breath to see. I will resign for you guys if you vote for that. Yeah, irate state. I rise in an irate state. I think that's from Alphabet Aerobics. Is that right, irate state? Does your name come from Alphabet Aerobics? I rise in an irate state. Rook G7 voted. Good vote, guys. I think you're going to get this one. Anyway, this voting gizmo is pretty cool, right? All right, State. I agree with you. We've been tooling around with it for a couple weeks now. And, yeah. Why couldn't we use the G2 pawn? We could guerrilla warfare, but it would have just been a different option. Moving this pawn up would have allowed checks along the second row to our king. And then, we would have had to shelter the king in some other way. The knight f4 was a pretty efficient option. No, it doesn't come from the song. That's just you. All right. Looks like Queen f7 wins the vote. Congratulations, folks. We've taken down Fatima. Very nice. All right. It would be much nicer, Boss Tweed, if you could adjust the size, if you could overlay it over like the main board over here, and you could sort of like see the board under it and then just sort of like click where you want it to move. It could be even much better, but it's already like useful, right? Thank you, Wrath of Gods. Let's do it. Let's have a look at this game. All right, so we go to live chess. Oops. Let's make another analysis board. This was Fatima. We just took down. Public here. Start. All right, now let me just adjust my screen capture for a second. So you can see the A file and all that. All right, let's learn a little something, shall we? Let's learn a little something here. So, after we analyze this game, we'll vote on who we're playing against next. So we play the exchange variation. Knight f3 is my favorite move here in the exchange variation. Some people like to play c4 to spice it up, but I think c4, there's a very, very good line for black in response to it, starting with bishop b4 check. So I like to play knight f3 first. Then almost any move by black, you could now play c4 if that's your taste. After knight c6, bishop b5 is quite a good, interesting move, and that was our choice here. This was a bad move from Fatima, and that's where our advantage starts to create. It is sometimes good to queen e2 check in the opening. Yes, please first. But this queen e7, it's almost always bad if your bishop's still in here. So if you want to use like a queen e2, you want to get this bishop out first, in my opinion. Right? So, Stamen has started lobbying for the vote. Excellent. So, okay, so bishop e3. Now she loses a tempo here. I mean, this move is really dramatic because she's going to have to move it again or to move this. It's dramatically bad. We trade. Castling is the most flexible here. Knight e5 looks interesting, but it's just got to be best to castle. It gives you all these options. Rook b8 was another bad move when all her problems are on the e file. So at this point, folks, and rook e1's correct, knight f6. Okay, so up to this point, I think the votes were fairly consistent and clear for us. You guys all found the best moves. Like bishop e3 was the best block to the check on the e file. The choice to trade on c6 was a good one because you're gaining a tempo compared to retreating after a6. So everything up to this point, you guys did really well. And she's played a couple egregious moves here. Queen e7 was really bad, and rook b8 is really not sensing the danger. I mean, yes, it develops the rook, but in a position where she's in this much danger, it's bad. Now here, we got a pretty good advantage, but we failed to kill to the maximum potential. So let's look at this again and see if we can't do any better. Let's work on our killing ability. What should white play here? What were our candidate moves? We had knight e5 and bishop g5 were the two most voted for moves. Bishop f4 suggests Oswaldo, and that was, I think, Pleef's suggestion during the game. Yeah, the Pleef move, which I really liked. Rockstar, you still think bishop g5 is best, so something with our other follow-up you didn't like as much. MorphyFan suggests c4 as a candidate move, which should definitely be considered. Our goal is to blow open the position as white here. And also knight c3, just developing more pieces quickly. Yeah. Yeah, you can watch, Toto. You can watch. It's just a... it's just a robot, and we're only trying to kill its king, metaphorically on a chessboard. Have you studied metaphor in school yet, Toto? We're not really going to kill the king. It's just like in the game, we're trying to checkmate, Why is b3 not good? Basically because it's slow, Wango. We can already play c4, and our opponent's probably not going to take. They're probably going to try and keep d5 solid and let us take. So our problem here is not defending c4. Our problem is pressuring some square of black's. And black's defense currently runs through 3 different squares. e6 is their planned square for stopping the e file. c6 is like a weakness we can target, and it's part of this diagonal. And then d5 is like their main central square. So we don't need to worry about supporting c4. We just need to worry about, is c4 going to attack this enough? It's already defended twice. How are we going to generate enough pressure to gain an advantage before black untangles this and castles? I do not plead first. Toto is watching on chess.com TV. So I'm answering Toto's questions over there. Toto's a kid, therefore does not chat on Twitch. Does not have a Twitch chatting account or whatever it is. So, yeah. Actually, I've got 5 pleefers, but one of them is chess.com TV, one of them's Twitch, and 3 are with my imaginary friends. Well, Toto, I think my stream is child-friendly enough. But if you're ever concerned that it might not be, you can always invite your parents to watch with you for a few minutes and tell you if they approve or not. I think you're supposed to be 13, Kapatanka, to be using a Twitch account. I think that when you made your account, you clicked a button saying, like, I am 13 years old or older. I think so. I do try new things. What's your rating? Okay, so what are you guys saying? What wins here? Could we use knight g5 to try and crack the e6 square where the opponent's going to try and block this file? Yeah, we could try knight g5. Wait, Wrath of Gods has a nice line. Let me see. At the very least, instead of b3, you can go knight d2, and after rook takes b2, knight b3. Yeah. We can also just ignore that whole thing. There's no way black's taking on b2. Well, actually, Fatima did in the game, but, I mean, it's not good. Okay, so we could go for knight g5. We could go knight bd2. We don't have nothing, though, Giant Slalom. For sure, we've got a good move. But knight bd2 might be good enough that, like, the opponent doesn't have anything good to do against it. One way to think about this would be to imagine what moves the opponent's going to play, and then see how we can... and then see how we want to play against that, right? So what moves are black going to play? Probably like bishop here. Then the queen has to go to one of these three squares, and then the bishop has to come to e7. So let's think like what we can do against that. If the queen goes to d7, we always have knight e5. That's not really like a problem yet, right? So bishop e6, we would expect the queen to go to d6 or d8. And I think this queen a4 move we played in the game is pretty strong. So that would be in favor of c4, not to crack d5, but just to play queen a4. And, you know, with knight c3, actually, we'll have general pressure against everything. We probably have time to put on real pressure. If you try to break through bishop e6 with knight g5, what other ingredient are you going to use to break e6? It's still going to be defended by this pawn. Oh, Kapatanka warns us if they were playing black here, they would probably go for g6, bishop g7. So we've got to keep our eye on that option for the opponent as well. So we don't want to give the opponent too much time to try and fix this situation. Wango says here, here, here. Now, where are you going to break through, Wango? Or what do you have in mind, sort of like, what do you think is coming next here? I'm feeling like knight e5 and c4, but... Queen e2, trying to win a pawn here, maybe. c4 looks good. Queen e2 to try and stop knight e4. It's going to be work. I mean, we could maybe win a pawn on e6 here. If we follow up with queen e2 and like take it. But it would involve trading queens, which I don't think maximizes our win. So let's go back here for a second, right? And let's look at knight e5. Sorry, wrong order. Bishop f4, bishop e6, and now knight e5 threatening this. And then the next idea we'll look at is c4, queen a4. Good night, Morphe. Thanks for your work on our team. Okay, so this was like the old Pleafer suggestion. Idea is just to grab this pawn. Also to take away this square from the queen. So, I mean, what black wants to do here is move the queen and play bishop e7, but where can the queen move, right? In the game, the queen went on this square here. And then knight g6 would just win here now, right? So there's no queen d6. So what move is black even trying in this position here? He has to move one of them to take the sting out of it. Yeah, good call, Pleafers. Okay, so this rook needs to move somewhere. I would honestly just move it back to a8 probably, or maybe b6. Okay, we could try slow white down with rook b6. Queen b4 says metabolic error, but queen b4 knight takes, hitting these pieces, that commits you to taking on b2, I think, right? Otherwise you lose the rook. So you have to counterattack white's rook, and then white plays here. Well, maybe I shouldn't give up on this too soon, but the rook's attacked, rook b1's coming, so the rook maybe does something like this. White gets a new file. This comes here. The problem, Wango, is that it's white who ends up with the file because white's got connected rooks. So every like open file is likely to land in white's lap. That's the danger for black in this. Yeah, the knight's hanging, so our next move from white is something like knight back to e5 or something. Is there a big difference between knight e5 into bishop f4 or bishop f4 into knight f5? Maybe not, Wrath of Gods. It's just maybe if we play knight e5 first, black doesn't have to play bishop e6 because we've got two pieces blocking our rook on the e file. Hang on, folks. Let me get a link here for Try New Things. Yeah, fair enough, Wango. Okay, so suggestion in this position that maybe with rook b6, black could keep the file. Yeah, maybe so. No, Kapitanka, I just triggered a MooBot command in order to get a link to send over to Try New Things, for whom that is the right video. This seems better for black, like better than the other positions, or like black has the advantage, better for black? It is annoying to have to retreat a piece. I was planning to never retreat this game. Better than rook on c8. Yeah, I guess so. You don't just give the file. It seems better, yeah. Knight here, queen here, hitting the knight, defending the pawn, getting off of rook b1. Knight here. White threatens bishop d2, which I think would trap the queen. So it's still a tricky spot for black. Queen b4, then we can grab this pawn. I'll tell you this, my instinct is like, despite some slightly better defensive moves from black, they're still losing. Like the rook and queen are just going to get tangled up by three white minor pieces. And like none of these trades are acceptable for black. Nice idea, Wrath of Gods, yeah. We can look at that idea, certainly. Especially since I think Wango's not going to like knight e4 after this move here. Right on cue. All right, so here, bishop d2, Bishop takes. And the development is complete by black. Yeah. Yeah. That's a pretty good suggestion, Wrath of Gods. I mean, white's still winning, unfortunately, but it's a good suggestion. It's definitely a good suggestion. It's basically just bad bishop and rook against queen, right? After something like queen d3 takes castles. Black finished development, avoided, just losing the game immediately, but still winning for white. You're using your lemons, yeah. Okay. So this looks pretty promising for white, I gotta say. Yeah, it's like really hard to suggest good moves for black here. We played queen b4, knight c6, which was cool. We could also play knight c3 first here, because like this threat is still hurting black, and now our rook's not undefended. If queen b2 in a position like this, rook b1 will just win the rook back here. So okay, so that was really, really strong for white. Like, pretty much borderline winning. Let's try out c4 now. We know bishop e6 is probably going to come. Now, let's go queen a4. Hitting this pawn. That's a bit awkward for black. Yeah, I'm going to cut off those variations in that branch Kapetanka and say that they were just very, very good for white. Black was losing. And there were better and worse defenses, but we don't want to get bogged down in 500 variations once it's very clear to me what the evaluation is. I'm just going to, direct things a little bit by saying, like, the evaluation's been made clear, and we move into another variation. Yeah. I think the bishop always has to go to e6 for this file. I don't think black can switch to bishop d7. But the idea is to block with the knight e4, so how about bishop g5? That stops knight e4, now black just has to play bishop e6. And white got the bishop off of here basically for free, right? Because black spent 2 moves getting to e6. And now I can go and play queen a4 again, and I've played this move for free. It's not my favorite move. I like the bishop much better on f4. But for free, at least it's off of the e-file, reducing the opponent's options. And actually, white's got a huge threat here, I notice now, which is pawn takes pawn. Look at this, rook b6. I mean, it's a stupid move because white also has c5. But just for argument's sake, look at this. The bishop can't take because of the queen. The knight can't take because of the queen. And the pawn can't take. So this move just wins the whole game. Knight e4 first. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. More flexible. So c4, knight e4. Okay, now white will play knight e5 first before queen a4 or bishop f4 or something, because f3 is like the key move against knight e4 to have available. So we go knight e5, threatening this. And against this move, play f3. The knight has to retreat to one of these squares. None of them really help, but the point is just then white moves the bishop off of the file. And black's back to like thinking about bishop e6, except now it loses the rook. The queen could try and move somewhere random, but the knight will catch up with her with discovered checks. It's done. It's done. King to d. Like, you really want to move the king through the center here? to try and stop some of this stuff. The knight's not even making it legal. The king won't be safe because white will have knight e5. So c4 is looking very strong already, my instincts. c4 is looking really good. Bishop here, then I played what? Queen a4 here. So here if king d7, Wango, knight e5 check. King has to move. White takes on c6 and then just takes everything. So this is a real threat here. And hard to defend, right? Rook b6, c5 is generally going to kick the rook. Queen d6, c5, queen d7, knight e5. Completely winning. Kapetanka, does this seem even better than bishop f4, bishop e6, knight e5? Or is it like equally good? Man, this queen a4 dimension is really just crushing. Black cannot handle that move. They just don't have time to reorganize these. You would think that black would be willing to sack the pawn, answer queen check with bishop d7, queen moves away somewhere and get castled, and then whatever, you're down a pawn, but you got all your pieces out. That would be acceptable. But I don't see a way to like even get a grip on the game here for black. This is everything I'd want for white. Okay, so lesson number 1, folks, is in this position here, how to go for the kill. You have enough to go for the kill. I think you guys knew that. You played like a move that said you wanted to kill, right? And then another move that said you wanted to kill. It just wasn't like the absolutely most precise. Queen e7 is quite a devastatingly bad move. Yeah, Kapetanka. But the move that pushed black over the edge is like rook b8. Like black's in dire trouble here, but rook b8 not getting castled, that's where it goes from like just barely lost to devastating. Like in this position here, black is just barely lost. Like I am GM level lost. White's going to be able to win a pawn for nothing in the time that it takes black to castle, for sure. So black's like that kind of level of lost here. Like it's just barely lost if white really plays a great game all the way through. But after rook b8, it's just like done. Right now it's just like brutal. Like you're winning 2 pawns, 3 pawns. They can't defend their piece. They can't get castled. Just everything. So knight f6. So notice how we were like well-intentioned, but didn't like kill black as precisely as in those other lines, right? No Wrath of Gods. It's just not as good as the lines we just looked at, and we've got some more moves to go look at in this game. Yeah, Wango. I'm looking forward to doing that for sure. Okay, so rook b2. Another kind of bad move from her, but the nice thing here with the c4 move is it's unleashing, knight c3, queen a4, not to mention just c5, bottling the queen up and taking this. Like if black didn't play rook b2, what's black supposed to play here? If black tries to develop, you play c5, queen here, takes. It's just an out-and-out thrashing, right? So, yeah, it's not really clear what the opponent should do. They played this. We went for c5 here. Interesting. Sorry, I guess I should stop talking about killing. Maybe that's like just a problem in my vocabulary. I used to speak about chess much worse when I was a high schooler, but there may still be some improvements to make. Okay, so c5 wins this pawn. That seems pretty good. They came here, queen a4. I think queen a4 unnecessarily builds the tension when we could just take this pawn here with a tempo on the queen. Because the weird thing is, in this position, we didn't take with the knight because I think some people noticed, like, it's not necessarily good to get the knight sort of stuck like this, right? So I think here we were better off taking the pawn with our knight. We get a tempo. She's got to go somewhere, right? And if she goes to d7, we come back with the tempo, and we've got queen a4 coming. So more likely the queen goes somewhere like this. But now notice this bishop, the only square it has is e7, and we could always take it there. I would be inclined to now play the move knight c3, developing my pieces. And this is also a benefit of playing knight c6 over queen a4. Like, depending on what makes the strongest threats, queen a4 is a nice ingredient, but sometimes just this is going to be really good. The threat here, in addition to the fact that we're developing like a lot of pieces, the threat here is to take, and take on d5 with the knight. So it's quite a nice threat. This could be played. And then we could take, king takes, knight check, see? See how this knight c3 ended up being even stronger than queen a4 in this particular scenario? f4 and f5. No, not necessarily, Kapitanka. That might be good too. Let's have a look. f4 going for f5. I suppose black has to maybe try knight e4. Trying to block that. So on f5 the bishop could take. I don't know what you think of this so far, Kapitanka. But as soon as I see this, I kind of wish I'd just played knight c3. But, I mean, we could look at it further if you want. I'm sure white still has a good position. But what's the follow-up? This square is actually hard to win for white now. Maybe knight c3 here. No, the knight would just take us. It's not technically pinned yet. So knight c3, and I don't know what black's supposed to move. Right? I mean, bishop e7 was atrocious. Rook takes e4, says the newly violent Falk. He's now an open Sicilian guy. And he can probably make this work. This will probably like still be really good for white. But knight c3 was so easy, right? Oh, there's an idea from Wrath of God. Maybe take here first and then go for f4, f5. Now what are the moves for black? Like f5, black plays it themselves to stop it from white. Or maybe king d7, trying to get off the file. All not great for them. But I'm going to still say, I mean, like knight c3. If the move bishop e7 loses for black, then I'm happy to play this move. And then see what I want to do next. So I think here, definitely like queen a4 was not as killer as knight c6. Because it allows black to play bishop e7, developing some pieces, and on queen c6, just step away with the king. And now white's up a pawn, but we haven't really broken through yet, and we need to finish development. And we played knight c3, which I like, and then on h6, we went for this complicated knight g6, but it was not a kill. It was really, really messy, in fact. So I don't know how much we trust this line. Excuse me, that we went for here. But I think, you know, once black was able to play bishop e7, king f8, it may sound funny to say this, but my instinct was we went from like, you know, +4 to +2 or something like that, or +5 to +2. Like, it's a lot harder to win here for white, I think, once black's organized these pieces. And I mean, We don't need to go for anything complicated. I think if we just chill, we'll end up winning the game. Because, I mean, we could be taking this pawn. We could be developing the rook, maybe going to the b file. And it's still a lot of moves for black to get this piece out, right? So, like, you could just play bishop c1. Or bishop f4. I don't know. I don't know what black's supposed to do, right? Something like this, maybe. Oh, we're only up 1 pawn now because we'd lost this one. Not really up enough pawns for this to be super easy. Yeah, it's not so easy. Okay. Taking the knight and then going knight g6 would transpose to what we did in the game Kapetanka, so that's not a difference really. This does need to move. Bishop c1, queen a6 didn't impress me, so I'll try something else. Could try staying on here. g5 here, king here. Here for knight c6, queen a8 or something. We still have to play the game. It's not totally easy. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this totally killer for white or not? Maybe in the bishop c1 line we could then play knight g6 and get this queen here. Bishop f4. Bring it back out. May look lame, but oh, sorry. Let's just trade queens in order to take this pawn. Hitting that piece and just kind of overwhelming black. Bishop here to defend that and develop. And then take another pawn here pretty soon. I think white's going to be up 2 full pawns with absolutely no compensation now. Did I miss a way to win the queen? Okay, Baron. My bad. Rook takes knight. Yeah, very good. Thanks, Baron. Okay, so black's really low on defensive moves here. Maybe this one. This move. Looking to just play here. Notice this piece doesn't really have anywhere to go. Needs to be defended. Queen d7 is never going to work because Baron woke us up. My screen is so blinding. Okay, so that's interesting as an option. Bishop c1 and then the check. That looks pretty good. Okay, so alternatively, so what we did in the game, we can compare with here, 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 here. This position was really messy. I think the original hope was to just develop the rook to e1 here, threatening rook e8, but there's bishop f2 and taking it. No, this is what we played in the game. Kapetanka was like this. Okay, let me show you guys. I was thinking of maybe taking here, here, and here. Because this bishop is trapped, right? So it doesn't give the opponent a lot of options. If knight to g8, we would just play knight d5 and win very easily. Knight e4, we could probably, I mean, knight takes d5 probably wins, but a very, very simple thing we could see is that if we just, triple against this bishop, it can't move because of rook e8. So we just win back the piece, and I mean, this is completely easily winning for white, right? We'll be up. Oh, nice. Rook h4. Good move, rook h4. Yeah. Messier than I had advertised. Messier than I had advertised. Definitely some tricks there. I didn't see rook h4 coming. Then maybe instead we should take this way. So on rook h4 we could go here. Knight d5 was probably cleaner, yeah. Leaving more black pieces hanging. Okay, so this was my idea. What defenses does black have to this approach from white? What do you think? Queen d7, rook takes f6, check. Queen to e8. I guess we have to trade queens. Going after this piece, and if it moves, rook takes knight. This is me trying to be like alert and precise again, because here covers this. Actually, you could take it anyway. The bishop was hung. Yeah, I know I lost this bishop for black. It's because white sacked a bishop and I didn't know what to do about this, so I just tried to trade queens for black here. Rook c2, perhaps? A suggestion here. Oh, wait, shoot, hang on. Was this your point, Wrath of Gods? Because before you didn't have rook b1 mate. But here on rook takes queen, you've got rook c1. Yeah, I know. I remember. I noticed this earlier. So okay, so on rook c2, I can't actually take because you're going here, and I can't go knight d5 yet because your knight goes to d5. Oh, that's really inconvenient, Wrath of Gods. That's really inconvenient. Not what I wanted to see here. Ay. See, I think this is really tricky. Like, even if there's a win for white, it's like so hard to find all the right moves. Maybe we just move the knight here. Now, how do we beat this? Perhaps with f3, because we've got these squares covered. But by now, there's like ample opportunity for black to, you know, try and spend the time getting the queens off the board, keep things interesting. Actually, I mean, it's still a lot of work for black to try and make this interesting. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Here. A lot of work. A lot of work to do. Okay. So this all was very tricky. We came here and here and here. Here, here. I think we had to. Here. Now here, folks, I thought we should just get off of this bishop's diagonal right away. It was miraculous that rook f1, knight e3, and we didn't lose anything, but I don't think we want this knight on e3, right? And it was like pinned for 6 moves. Pretty much everybody was annoyed by that knight on e3. So almost certainly we should have just gotten off that bishop's diagonal here, right? Now, very, very interesting question what the evaluation is here. I mean, black's problem is just flipping the king and rook. Otherwise, black's got a great bishop. And wait, are we hanging the rook here with this move? That's not a move. That's the end of the game. Back rank mate threatened, black's up a rook. We had no choice here, actually. White is not crushing. What could we do in this position? Maybe move the rook somewhere. Yeah, rook d1, check. Rook here, check here. This is more like what I was thinking about. Rook f1 and ended up not losing the game, Kapetanka. But it ended with our knight on e3 like pinned for several moves, and I think kind of a gift when Fatima retreated the bishop on d4 unnecessarily. And that's where it was only then that I think we got the upper hand. This position here looks very exciting and interesting for white. This queen's busy stopping checkmate on e8, so she can't go to like h4 or something. And we have the idea of either bringing the queen here to win this pawn at some point or bring the knight through e7 to g6, which is a weak spot. We could also maybe continue our attack with rook f1 in some cases. I think knight e7 is critical, like getting at these squares. It's crucial for this attack. Oh, and knight c7 could be a good move too, threatening rook e8 and knight e6. That could be a heavy blow. So Metabolic says black didn't need to trade the rook on f2, right? That just burned that bishop check for absolutely nothing, right? Just for a pointless trade. So maybe black's got a good move here, right? Like maybe here's the moment where you do this. Check, discovered check, right? Saving the queen. Although here she's still in danger, right? Rook takes, we still lose the queen. Queen moves somewhere, rook takes, king here, mate. Mate, come on, mate, okay. This is interesting for white, man, but hard to find. Rook a e1, maybe the only good square for this rook, because it's defended, so it doesn't get lost to a discovery. That was a hard move to find. That's very interesting. It seems like it almost has to be okay for white. Funny, black's got the rook discovery and can't like win anything from it. Later in this game, white had the rook discovery and somebody was like, can't we get something out of the discovery? And we couldn't. Okay, but here's the game. We played rook f1, check, here, h5, takes. The annoying thing is that we can't move our knight. We can't go to f5. We can't go back to d5. Maybe we just needed to move our king at some point here, but we played like queen f3. Here, check, here. And here black retreated, and I think that's why we got the advantage. So, I mean, if black just takes here, then there's this, so that's not a possibility. And the bishop is attacked by the queen. It's okay, Kapetanka, there's a little bit of like a lag, so sometimes that can happen if you're not like super fast. The lag was a lot worse. Like, 10 years ago when I started doing this. It's actually pretty incredible that we can have such like fast, I mean, for me, having experienced what streaming was like in its very, very first days, that we can have these fast conversations, like almost instant about all this. It's pretty amazing. So actually queen d5 is pretty good. And if bishop takes knight actually loses, that's good to know. So how should black support the bishop? I don't actually see a good move for black now that I'm looking at it. In the game, I thought our advantage came from this move. But now I'm seeing that here. During the game, I hadn't seen rook g3. Note, I was not very focused on the game. I'm going to close down the vote chess extension while we analyze here because we don't need it any further. Rook t8, nice try. And if rook check here. Oh, but there's this move. There's this move, Oceanair. Forcing the king to interfere with the queen's defense. Rook d8, rook d6. Check. I mean, the king moves are just basically all these. Maybe here, so that if you take, it's not check, and you can counter here. And then checkmate. This doesn't do anything. All right, hang on. Let me calculate this rook d8 move from Oceanair a little bit better. That's fancy. That is fancy. Ho ho! And I've got a fancy move for you, Oceanair, now that I took a step back. Maybe it's no good, but it's fancy at least. Oh my lord, it's fancy. All right, so if the king comes this way, I have got checkmate. If the king comes up, I check from this side, king here, and then I take the bishop safely, defending my knight. Oh, this is a good tactical puzzle, Oceanair. I bet this is like the one winning move. Rook f6. Ugh. Yeah, that's it. Double check. King's got to move. We've looked at all the candidate moves. It's king e8, queen f7 mate, king e7, queen f7 mate, king f6, queen d8. Nobody else is screaming. No one else is excited by that. Okay, so we were doing better than I thought. We were doing better than I thought. That is the wisdom of the masses. Check here, here. What a maneuver. I didn't realize how good that was going to be. So the opponent retreated, and we brought the knight in, and white seems to have a nearly winning attack, but I think h4 here looked crushing to me, right? This is where we were saying, like, do we have no discovery with our rook? I thought h4 here would be a very nice move for white. If the queen takes it, there's rook e4 check, right? And it basically gets rid of our back rank mate, which just makes Just makes it a lot easier to calculate winning attacks and not have like, you know, some scatter of like queen checks to watch out for if like back rank mate. So we go h4. If the queen goes to h6, I was planning to play this move here. Queen could come to g3, but then we do take this with tempo on her, right? And we still have the rook discoveries. And we're covering queen e1. So that seems just winning. So I think the only move really is this queen g6. But now the king can't escape this way, right? So now we could play check here, here. And see, we've got the king completely bottled up. The rook can't get out. And we don't have back rank mate to watch out for. Like we've gotten rid of it with this move. This position here has got to be one for white. It's got to be one for white. A basic threat in this position is like queen a8 taking the rook, but I'm sure there's like simple ways to creep in and mate as well. You know, like queen d7, queen e6 kind of moves. So queen a8 is mate. The king will come up here. We take the rook, and then if they take the knight, queen e8 mate. It's not like exactly mate, but it like wins the rook and threatens mate, and yeah. It leads to mate in a few moves, I suppose. So I think this was an improvement, honestly, over the simple knight f5 that we played here. I think h4 would have just been like, you know, the computer would just go red. I have my own like mental calculating thing going, right? And it sees h4 and just goes like death, 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 death. You know, the points just go from like +3 to +10. It's a little bit like a little computer in here sometimes. So we played knight f5, which spoils nothing. The black king's still pretty stuck. It went to g6, which is the only way to try and take advantage of this, get out of the way of the discoveries, and be able to still bring the rook out into the game. So now we gave this check, which is good. And this check, which is good. And this h4 move, which is really good. All of this was crushing. Yeah, and here we're winning again. I mean, the queen can't cover this. So it's just, she goes over there, but there were still no moves. Black gave up the bishop. We're obviously winning throughout here. So it was tense. It was really tense. But this maneuver here, queen a8 to d5, that was a star maneuver. Wow. That crazily dealt with this problem on e3. Without even allowing a simplification from black. They can't even trade their bishop because of this. If come up, then queen e6 is mate in 1. If king here. Then we still have to prove it. But there should be something good here in line with like, you know, rook e5 or something. And on g6, just kind of creeping in. Okay, better move than queen g5 maybe in this position here after queen f3. It's a good question. It's funny you thought queen a8 was how we blew it, and it turns out to be really strong. Yeah, I thought we were in kind of a messy position there, Kapatenka, and everybody was worried about the knight on e3, and then it turned out it was good. Oh, you even thought, and Oceanair also thought we were losing with queen a8. That's crazy. I saw that after queen a8, queen d5 would not lose. I didn't see that it would win. Unethical business, welcome here, as long as you're not an unethical business. This channel is for chess education and entertainment. So what should black do after queen f3? instead of maybe queen g5. I mean, g6? We have to play moves that don't just allow queen f5 check, probably. Bishop c5 would be terrible, because then queen f5 check actually wins the bishop this way. We could trade off the bishop with check. This might be a chance to just trade it off before the knight gets going on the attack. Rook here. And now maybe g6 when the rook can't take. King's obviously like exposed and going to be a problem in a queen and rook versus queen and rook position. But I mean, neither is white proving anything yet. Okay, so we've got queen f3, rook h6 suggestion. That's plausible. And then the line went queen check, rook here. Does that hold? Yeah, that shouldn't lose that position there. Yeah, that's a pretty solid move as well. I think trading in g6 might also hold, but this might actually be safer because black's worst problem is that rook, actually. Yeah, I like that Wrath of Gods, because that is our biggest problem. That is our biggest problem, that rook. Right, the best thing white can do is maybe just to mess up the pawns on h6, win back the pawn on f5 with check, whatever, play out the endgame. But that endgame's a draw, I think. I mean, I don't think white's better in this position. I think this is just absolutely equal here. Because this is a problem. Material's equal. Would it be winning? I don't think so. I don't think it would be. Yeah. Yeah, it's very hard to win with this thing needing defense, and this pawn's also hanging in those positions. I think white can probably draw with some moves here, but I wouldn't expect white to be any better. So that's a nice defense, rook h6. So that's this position here. And maybe king f1 instead here. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect white to be better, though. I mean, black could take here and, like, launch their own checks. Or in this position, can we throw rook h6? Since Wrath of God, since you told us about this, get the rook out quickly. And then there's just no reason that that black should be in trouble in a position like this. Right, once the rook comes out to cover it. Okay, so position was probably about equal around here in a couple different ways. And it was this queen g5 move that got black into trouble. And then this amazing queen 8 to d5, which actually turns out to be good for white. And that shows you actually how good this Fatima bot was as an opponent. Because playing through the game, as an IM, I couldn't tell exactly where she was making her mistakes. Her moves were plausible. None of them stuck out as like, oh, the programmers just told her to make an egregious move here, right? The moves all looked reasonable. It really looked like a game between two humans, actually. I'm impressed by this bot. And this is like the 6th bot we've played against, and the others did not impress me. So I'm not just like, anyone who's been around for a couple weeks of our vote chess experiments against the bots will know that I'm not just trying to talk up this feature. I've even said I don't think having the bots is like a particularly useful or priority feature for the site to have. But this bot here, actually, I mean, in this one game at least, it created a real like chess playing experience. So, yeah, there were a couple really bad moves in the opening Wrath of Gods, but this computer is supposed to be 2000. It had to have some kind of weakness built into it. This phase here, where we had like a messy game and like it made some good moves and some bad moves, we made some good moves and some bad moves, but none of them were like moves that like nobody would play. That early queen move was terrible, but overall, I would say this is one of the better bots I've seen in a long time, I would say. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, that's your opinion. I mean, I've definitely had openings that good a lot of the time against humans with that kind of rating. But I mean, I do mostly agree. It's just a question of degree. But I mostly agree with you guys that Queen E7 was like pretty much stupidly bad because, I mean, it just needlessly blocks this in. You basically have to not see Bishop E3 coming to play this move. A human might play this move if they thought white had to play Bishop E2 or Queen E2, right? I could see a human playing Queen E7 if they just didn't see the bishop could come to E3. But, I mean, if you see Bishop E3, this move's really abysmal. I mean, I guess, like, now and then I've seen people do this. Check here. I've seen people do things like this, right? Bishop and king, knight C3. Then they're like, oh, I don't win a piece, but I win, like, this pawn or something like that. And then after knight D5, like, at some point, the player realizes this whole thing is a failure or whatever. Cool. See you later, Kapitanka. I'm just about done anyway. It's after midnight for me. I usually wrap up between midnight and 1 a.m. And I am running a tournament tomorrow morning. I don't know what schedule, what part of the world you're in or whatever, but here is the tournament we're running tomorrow. If you scroll down below here, you can see that we've got a live schedule in like a Google Calendar now, so you can see upcoming events for the day, and we stream several times per day, or we're averaging definitely more than 10 hours a day of streaming this month. So between me and the other guys, there's a lot of shows right now. So you'll meet Jesse or Kostya next time, maybe. Anyway, I've seen games go like this. And I've also seen people play Queen E7, Bishop E3, and then like maybe like double check something and not go for this. But it's a little bit rare, and it's pretty bad. This Queen E7. I mean, it's definitely pretty bad. As I said, like at an IM or GM level, I feel like it's almost a losing move. So, all right. Well, that was a very interesting game. A surprisingly interesting game, fun to look at. Everything I was looking for today, I think. I'm going to save the PGN into my file and then send a raid to somebody. Anyone have a tip on where we should raid right now? What's out there right now? Wrath of Gods, we don't really have like thousands or hundreds of people watching. It's just like a chess.com embed. We probably have something like 50 to 100 people, but we never really know because of these embeds. You want me to make an arena right now? I'm going to make me go into bed, sorry. But I can raid some channel if somebody suggests to me what they want to see. And we're running tournaments the next like 4 days, so we've got a lot of chances to play. We're doing a game 30 tomorrow. I'll be doing live commentary on it. That's in 10 hours. All right, where should I raid? Most channels seem to be closed right now. Let's go to Let's Chess Live, maybe. We do sometimes make an impromptu arena at somebody's suggestion. It's not an impossible request, but right now it's got to be bed for me. Yeah, sorry, I'm heading out, PB Corporeal. See you next time. Take care. Let's Chess Live is offline. Oh, okay, hang on. Cancel that. We'll raid somewhere else. Thanks for telling me.
Queen's gambit stuff with g6 and your bishop on g2. g3, bishop g2.